Hey, thanks so much for tuning to the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. Today is Thoughtful Thursday. All week we've been in Holy Week, and tomorrow is the day that's of Good Friday, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. But today is a day of sacrificial love, when the disciples really understand what sacrificial love is. And this is the Last Supper. This is the day that Jesus prepares the meal and knows and passes out the cup and passes out the bread and says, "This is my body, this is my blood." He's foretelling what's going to happen the next day. And he's saying, every time you take of this bread and of this cup of juice, you will remember me. And as you do so, you'll remember me until I come again. And that's why we take communion on a consistent basis, is to remember and reflect on what Jesus did for you and what he did for me. And so this is the day of the Last Supper. And after that, he goes and as a servant, Jesus goes and he washes the disciples' feet. Something that you do. This is like the lowest of low of jobs when it comes to servanthood, when it becomes to servants. And Jesus becomes that and says, "I'm going to wash your feet." And it just is such an amazing example of leadership right there, of servanthood. And that's why Jesus came. That's how he came, as a servant. And again, that foretells all of the prophecies of who Jesus was going to be. And after that, they go to the Garden of Gethsemane. And it's such a powerful moment there where Jesus really understands what he's going to face. And he's like, hey, if there's any other way that I can still do what you've called me to do, Father, but not go through what I'm about to go through. But then he says this line. He says, "But not my will be done, yours be done." And that is such a sacrificial, humbling moment that Jesus made there for you. He made that for me as well. And so this new commandment, it wasn't a new commandment, but he says it in a way that for hopefully his disciples and hopefully all of us to understand this. In John chapter 13, verse 34, "A new commandment I give you, love one another as I have loved you. So you must love one another." And that whole idea of sacrificial love. So for Thoughtful Thursday, I want you to think about the sacrificial love that God has for you, that he sent his son Jesus, and that Jesus was obedient up until the cross. And so I want you to think about that, ponder that, reflect on that, and go to the Lord today with such a grateful, thankful heart. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for another Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth.